NFL Week 1, nearly in the books. We got 49ers versus Jets left to play tonight. We're going to be reviewing my article, see what we got right, see what we got wrong, talking about best ball, talking about any interesting usage. Let's get it, gang. Grab my hands, guys. Let's pray in unison. Rome Odunze is getting an MRI on his knee. Don't know what happened there. Let's just pray he's okay. Grab my hands. Let's do it together. Rome, please be okay. All right. With that out of the way, NFL Week 1, a mixed bag. Overall, pretty low scoring slate. Pretty run-heavy slate compared to years past. Jesus, if Velus Jones is the reason, oh my God. So yeah, first I want to say, usually I'll have this show earlier in the day and I'll be a little bit more organized. Got up at 4 a.m. this morning to go pick up my dad and take him for minor surgery. So a little bit out of loops today as opposed to what it will normally be. But where we're going to start this each week is, each week I'm doing a DFS write-up. So let's be accountable and let's review it and talk through the slate. We'll also talk about some usage. We'll talk about, buy lows, sell highs. We'll try to do all that. My dad's okay. My dad's home. We don't need to pray for him. But you can. You can pray for my dad. So, in this article, I'm assuming most of you saw it. If not, and you want to check my work, I'll link it here. Beatbestball.com. I did a Sunday morning cram session too. Never going to bat 100. Hope I helped you in your start-sit decisions. Never going to bat 100% for season-long best ball either. A couple things to remember. It's week 1 of a 17-week season. For example, last year, Christian Kirk scored 2 points week 1. Went on to average 13 PPR points. Devon Achane was a healthy scratch week 1. So if you're freaking out, take a breath. If you're fist pumping, also probably take a breath. Shout out my guy Fareed, the winner of BBM4 last year. Look up Fareed on X, Twitter, if you would like. His exposures, to put it bluntly, were terrible. And the man won $3 million. So that's the game we're playing. You don't need to bat 100%. You need to try to win week 17. Gonna go through this quickly. Josh Allen I wrote as a QB1. I also wrote up how paying up for elite quarterbacks is not usually something we saw from tournament winners. Josh Allen was QB1, so that's good. That Bills-Cardinals game was weird, and the NFL is an inherently chaotic game, so you're going to get weird games. For example, in the Bills-Cardinals game, obviously a game I watched, there was quite windy, and the Cardinals were not running a real offense. Maybe that was due to the wind. Maybe that was due to fear of their O-line. I don't know, but it was a lot of screens. It was a lot of short stuff, almost nothing deep. The Bills basically didn't touch the ball in the first quarter at all. They had a return to the 50, and then Josh Allen fumbled it. And so they didn't touch the ball in the first quarter at all. Went on to score 32 points with 2 rushing touchdowns. Again, I don't know if rushing Josh Allen is here to stay, but when the Bills need it, we'll get it. So I don't know if we can, the Bills were trailing in this game, and that's why Josh Allen was going Josh Allen hero ball mode. Is he going to do that if the team is up 14 points in the fourth quarter. Maybe, maybe not. So yeah, you were happy with Josh Allen, but again, Baker Mayfield scored similar. Jaden Daniels scored similar. Anthony Richardson scored similar, all at much cheaper prices. So I think it's a little tough to pay up for QBs and win the Millie Maker tournaments, even though the guy did it in the $5 Millie Maker. You know, he had like a Saint stack with Josh Allen. It was a crazy lineup. CJ Stroud scored okay. And yeah, like we've not seen outside of the Tampa Bay game last year where CJ Stroud scored for 40 points. We've not seen a bunch of huge fantasy games from Stroud. So I don't think I'll be paying up for expensive CJ Stroud. If his salary gets more reasonable, yes. Tua was robbed of a touchdown. His price was a little bit more reasonable, but again, 7K Tua, just a little bit expensive. He was robbed of a touchdown. Achane was tacked. I think Achane scored on the play. They wiped it away. So he scored okay. Could have had a better day if Achane had scored that day. Again, expensive QBs. Joe Burrow. Burrow and the Bengals sucked. I think part of this is, hey, when teams are missing their weapons, maybe instead of jamming the cheap chalk like Andre Yoshivas, maybe we just fade the team. Better days ahead probably here. Patriots D is legit, but yeah, I'm not seeing this game. I'm gonna go back and watch it, but truly abysmal stuff from the Bengals. Like losing against the Patriots, my God. Even worse was Caleb. The Bears went on to win this game somehow off the back of their defense and Will Levis, but Caleb played like shit. And again, he played bad. He scored bad, but this game script was super wacky where typically when your team is trailing by 14, you at least get a garbage time quarter. You know, we didn't get that because the Bears defense kept on scoring touchdowns, which puts the balls back in the Titans' hands and takes it away from the Bears offense. Roman Dunze is getting an MRI on his knee, so hoping that's okay. Keenan Allen dropped a touchdown. He just got missed on a deep touchdown, had a huge target share. I still think better days are ahead for Caleb. Like I'm co-managing a league with Jacob, and he wants to say, Caleb sucks, get him out of here. I think we have some patience there. Maybe the Titans defense is legit. Yeah, it's week 1, you know. Anthony Richardson, yes, he smashed. Playing Richardson pass game pieces. Shout out to the brave souls who fired up Alec Pierce, but Alec Pierce had 3 receptions, 145 yards. Richardson looks like a effing monster. Throwing off his back foot for 80 yards. He almost got, he missed Adonai Mitchell on several touchdowns. So Richardson a smash at these cheap prices. And choosing the pass game pieces, I think, is going to be hit or miss there. Fields busted at 5K. They won, but yeah, scored shitty. Trevor Lawrence busted at 6,200. They should have won, but didn't. Fraud alert for Jacksonville. Baker Mayfield smashed. Fire up semi-competent offenses against the Commanders' defense. Seems like that is sticky year over year. And Jaden Daniels also smashed. So mixed bag here for the quarterbacks. Of course, we got the 4 highest scoring quarterbacks and a bunch of busts. Darnold and Daniel Jones. I think Darnold scored okay. Running back, Achane smash. Could have had an even bigger day. Used as a receiving weapon. Wheels up for Achane. Got goal line carries. Wheels up for Achane. So yeah, huge season ahead for Achane. Bijan, massive usage, kind of a floor game. You know, I didn't draft a lot of Kirk Cousins, even though I drafted Atlanta pieces because, dude, he looked rough off the Achilles. James Cook, I think we're going to get some huge games from James Cook. Again, that Bills game was pretty wonky, but strong usage, was getting carries by the goal line even. Didn't score super well, but yeah, better days ahead. Ken Walker, massive chalk, scored well. Success there. Rashad White, pretty chalky, also scored well. Bucky Irving also had like a good run. Maybe Bucky played a little bit more because the Bucks were blowing the Commanders out, but I think Bucky will just kind of get some more work as the season goes. Joe Mixon smashed. There's just no one else there. Consolidates touches. So running backs, I think pretty much nailed. Zach Moss scored a touchdown. He, not a huge day, but when the Bengals have better days, I would expect Moss to be the guy. Chase Brown, roughly half the usage of Moss. JT did not have a great day in Fantasyland, but was like a near 100% snap rate guy. Chuba Hubbard, massive bust. Miles Sanders played more than we expected, and the Panthers look abysmally bad. Jerome Ford scored a touchdown in garbage time. Also had 6 targets. That was a smash at 5,500. So pretty strong plays for Achane, Walker White, Bijan Cook, Mixon, Moss, Ford. Really only Taylor and Chuba busted. Wide receiver Nico had a good day at 7K. DJ Moore busted at 6,500. Scored 10 points. Got banged up. Came back. Tyreek, of course, smashed. Super chalk. Rome Odunze busted. Maybe he was hurt. Again, every Bears I played a lot of the Bears. That did not go well. Tank Dell, 5,500. Not a great day in fantasy lands, but much better days ahead for Tank Dell. He wasn't on the field for all the plays, but he was on the field for almost all of the pass plays, which is what we care. Neighbors at 5,900. Kind of a bust there. Christian Kirk, busted. Brian Thomas Jr. was the guy to play here. Drake London, bust. Atlanta passing game piece is no good, other than Pitts scored a touchdown. Olave, mega bust on a day where the Saints scored infinite points. Better days ahead there. Jamar Chase. Maybe this was Christian Gonzalez. Maybe this was the Bengals offense, but not a good day in fantasy land. Did play a lot in the slot, so something to note. Maybe he's rusty there, maybe he's not. Mentioned Mike Evans in a smash spot, and yeah, he did score 2 touchdowns. Godwin had a good day. Really, the Bucks double stacks, maybe even triple stacks, were pretty sharp builds for last week. Kincaid busted, but much better days ahead for Kincaid. He was nearly a 100% route rate player, even with Dawson Knox. So, yeah, he's going to have some huge games with this usage. From watching the game, I can tell you there was one really deep route he ran where Josh Allen looked for him and then settled for James Cook open. And then they also ran a tight end screen by the goal line where he probably rumbles in and scores, but the Cardinals defender blocked it down. If you're in home leagues, guys, and people are panicking on the elite tight ends, I would trade for most of them. Again, Kincaid's didn't have a strong day in the box score, but when you're on the field that much, you're going to have some strong days ahead. We'll talk more about this as we go game by game routes. McBride also busted in fantasy. Much better days ahead for him as well. Strong usage. Ingram busted in fantasy. Really, the whole Jags did. Better days ahead probably there. Kyle Pitts scored touchdown, but most tight ends sucked. Taysom Hill also didn't do well. Bowers actually had a good day. Probably much stronger days ahead as well. Fant, not the best day either. Greg Dulcich, actually encouraging route rates from Dulcich, but not a good day. Theo Johnson, the same thing. He was a 90% route rate guy, which at 2,500 is kind of a smash. Didn't score though. Ertz also didn't do well. So me, along with the whole field, sucked at tight end. And then defense did great here. Bengals, no good. They lost. Bears was my favorite play. Hard to victory lap a defense because it's inherently chaotic, but what I said is we generally want to be playing good defense against teams that are going to pass the football a lot, hoping to luck into turnovers and defensive touchdowns. The Bears are a great defense, and they're playing the pass happy Titans. Wheels up. Was looking rough for a while there, but the defensive touchdowns came. Of course, that's fluky. Seahawks, they scored okay, but nothing great. Falcons lost the game. Not good there. Bills D didn't score well. Browns lost. They didn't score well. Panthers scored negative points. That's bad. Texans were fine, but not good enough. Raiders lost. And then the Vikings D also scored a touchdown, so they were okay. Really like the Cowboys D, the Bears D. These are the Ds to play. Double stacks. Really the only good one here was Tua, Achane, and Tyreek. Super expensive, though. The rest, relatively busted. Again, double stacks are hard to take down the Millie Maker, but a Baker double would have done it. The game theory plays, ETN did score a touchdown, but Tank played a lot more than we thought. Khalil Shakir did score a touchdown, only at 50% routes. Curtis Samuel, of course, had turf toe, so he will be ramping up. I think Keon Coleman is the Bills wide receiver we want to be playing. Nearly 100% snaps. Did a grown-ass man jump ball. Gonna have some huge days. Bills are playing on Thursday against the Dolphins, so won't have a chance on the main slate. Ford and Zach Moss, yep, they both scored touchdowns. Chase Brown, busted. CeeDee Lamb had an okay day, but nothing tournament winning. James Cook, okay day, nothing tournament winning. Metcalf. Seahawks game was weird also. Didn't do well. Waddle, I thought he went out for concussion, but had 100 yards on the day. Brian Thomas Jr. and Ladd, yep, they both scored touchdowns, so they were pretty sharp pay-up points off of Rome. Ladd got there just as the game expired, but Brian Thomas Jr., really excited about him, could have a huge year. Mixon in the Texans D, the Mixon side came in there. He was high on, though, and then JT and Colts D did not get there. Dumpster dives, Fields, no. Daniel Jones, no. God, the Giants are rough. Geno scored a rushing touchdown. Mayfield smash. Daniel smash. Darnold, okay. Chase Brown, no. Rico, no. In split usage with Zeke. Chuba, no. Ford, yes. Moss, yeah. Wide receiver, Rome, definitely not. Yoshi Voss, no. Matt Collins, yeah. I mean, one way of the Bills pieces failing. I think Matt Collins is like a better play on FanDuel, but he's trusted by the team. They like him. Score a touchdown. Gonna expect his usage to kind of like ramp down as the season goes on, though. Tolbert, no. Adonai Mitchell didn't have a good day, but almost scored 3 touchdowns. I think any given week, him or Pierce are liable to have huge games if Richardson has an ADOT of 20 yards. Polk, no. McMillan, I added this one, I think after I wrote the article. I added it like Saturday morning. I forgot to add him. Scored touchdown, nearly scored another one. So I think he was a pretty sharp pivot off of Yoshi Voss. Tight end, Theo, strong usage, but no. Dulcich, strong usage, but no. Hayden Hurst, spelled it wrong here. Hayden Hurts. Yeah, he's the pass game tight end of the Chargers. So pretty sharp best ball pick. Been drafting him a lot. Bigger days ahead for him. Ben Sinnott, no, did not get strong usage yet. And Mike Gesicki had a touchdown wiped off. I also think he was a sharp pivot off of Yoshi Voss and didn't get there. Now, what I used to do is, I'll tell you a story. I used to do 2 different things. One is originally I would go to PFF's article written by Nathan Yonke because he compiles snaps and routes run. And this is annoying information to find. And then they tried to paywall this. And so I reached out, as did others, I'm sure. And I said, hey, Fantasy Life offers this information for free. In a twist, Fantasy Life has now paywalled their route run and this is not proprietary information. However you say that, proprietary information. I don't really care about this info. I do care about routes and targets. So can't show fantasy lives. Hopefully they reverse this. Of course, I'm sure it's worth signing up if you want to have this data. I just probably won't. So we're going to be going back to PFF, who reversed course and unpaywalled their info. Going to just dive through this real quick. For anything notable, the whole Falcons offense is in trouble if Kirk Cousins does not get better significantly. I think Kirk Cousins is at significant risk to get benched sooner than later. Pitts, London, Mooney, Ray, they're really the four guys in the passing game. Huge usage for Bijan, 18 carries, 23 routes run. Like, that is wheels up RB1 type usage. Again, he scored a floor game. Like, much better days ahead there, especially if they're trying to protect Kirk Cousins. Charlie Warner played a little bit more than I think anyone expected, but not running many routes, kind of a blocking tight end. And again, this is written by Nathan Yankee, if you want to follow him on Twitter. Steelers, donkeys are going to do donkey things. One, Jaylen Warren, I'm expecting this usage to get a little bit more 50-50 as he gets healthy. Freiermuth played a lot of snaps, but, not running a full complement of routes. 4 targets, pretty nice on 21 routes run, but it's going to be hard for anyone to get home in the Steelers passing game offense. That's why I pretty much faded them. George Pickens somehow ran less routes than Van Jefferson. Did have 7 targets, though. So George Pickens is capable of putting up a huge game any given week. He just has an extremely low floor attached to the Steelers offense. Fields played 69 snaps. Pickens only played 47. He only ran 22 routes. That sucks. Patterson really only played 9 snaps. Not the biggest deal there. 4 carries. Cardinals, Bills. So yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr., I think definitely much better days ahead. Again, like watching this game, I don't know if it was they don't have faith in Kyler's arm. They don't have faith in their O-line. They were scared of the Bills' D. But it was a lot of dump-offs to James Conner. It was a lot of targets to Greg Dortch, even though he doesn't play in 2 wide receiver sets, as you can see by his snaps being much less than Marvin and Michael. But 8 targets for him, which is huge. I think he's liable to be a PPR scam all year. Michael Wilson scored a touchdown. He's going to be a boom-bust guy, not really startable. And yeah, if you can buy low on Marvin Harrison in your home league, I would do that. Going to have much better days ahead. The Bills have legit corners. Their safety play is a little bit questionable. Maybe their coverage linebacker is a little bit questionable, but better days ahead for him. Trey McBride also I would buy low on. 9 targets on 34 routes. A lot of it was in the flat, but will be better days ahead. This is elite usage. 9 targets. You love to see it. James Conner, locked and loaded RB1. And then Trey Benson barely played. He did get a target and 3 carries. Amari DeMarcado played ahead of Trey Benson. I don't expect that to hold up for the whole year. And then, I was a little surprised to see Elijah Higgins play so much and Tip Reinman play so much. Them playing is inherently taking Dortch off the field. On the Bills side, this is what you like to see for Kincaid. 51 snaps. Number 1 on the offense after Josh Allen, of course. So, almost a 100% snap rate player. 25 routes run, 2nd on the team after Coleman. That's what you like to see, right? Shakir as well, even though he only had 33 snaps, he was off the field for a lot of running plays because he ran 21 routes. Matt Collins ran 20 routes. Again, Curtis Samuel with turf toe. Who is he going to come at expense for? I think is a fair question to ask. Is he logically, his skills most overlap with Shakir. Also logically, Matt Collins is the least talented wide receiver of this group, of the big 4, that is. So I think it's going to come a little bit of Shakir off the field, a little bit of Hollins. Super encouraging for Keon Coleman. Came down with like a grown man jump ball. He should have some big games, especially if he's nearly 100% snap rate player, which should grow. MVS got in there a little bit. They targeted him deep. Samuel barely played. Again, it's going to take him a while to ramp up, but once he's healthy, I'm sure he'll be fine. Dawson Knox, definitely part of the offense, not a big target. Neither was Kincaid in this game. Even though the Bills were trailing in this game, they play the Dolphins on Thursday. Similar to the Bengals lost, but the Bengals playing the Chiefs after the Patriots. Maybe they're trying to hide some things here. Even though they were trailing, the game never really felt in doubt. It was pretty fluky with the turnovers. The Cardinals D couldn't stop them at all. So, yeah, I wouldn't panic on any of the pass game pieces. And Mac Hollins, a fine best ball pick. I mixed him in myself, but probably not a managed league target there. Ray Davis looked good on the few snaps he got, but Ty Johnson still playing ahead for now. That will probably change as the year goes on. The Bears, the big thing here is Keenan Allen popped up on the injury report. Again, he got overthrown. He dropped a touchdown. And Rome Odunze has an MRI today. So we'll see where I just hope he's okay. I think there will be much better days ahead for DJ. DJ Moore also landed on his shoulder super hard. He returned. So I'm assuming he's okay, but something to monitor there as well. Caleb just played like shit. So like maybe the Titans D's legit. Maybe Caleb is worse than we thought. I personally think that there will be better days ahead. Caleb gets the Texans this week, and we saw what Richardson did against them. So maybe this will be a big week for DJ Moore. Crazy usage for Gerald Everett. There was strong signal of this happening. I still didn't think he would be running more routes than Kmet. So Kmet, borderline droppable in. I wouldn't drop him with the Rome injury, because if Rome gets injured, maybe they play Tyler Scott, who is inactive, or maybe they go heavy to tight end. But if Rome's fine, borderline droppable to get as is Musgrave. Like Musgrave was straight up outsnapped by Kraft. Like I dropped Musgrave in one league. He'll have better days than best ball. But yeah, tough hold and manage. I wouldn't pick up Everett either. Better days ahead for Swift. Khalil Herbert barely played, and Roshan was a healthy and active, but he was banged up, so he'll probably be playing. And yeah, definitely 2 defensive touchdowns. We didn't get any garbage time there. Velus Jones played a little bit. Maybe that goes more. He just switched to running back. Wide receiver. And yeah, by the way, 8 targets on only 26 routes run for Keenan. So super strong usage for wide Keenan. On the Titan side, very strong usage for Calvin Ridley. Hopkins barely played off his injury, expecting that to ramp up at expense for Treylon Burks. Chig Okonkwo in a timeshare with Josh Wiley. 38 snaps, only 21 routes. That's middling. Scored a touchdown, but yeah, like nothing there. Tony Pollard, the clear 1A to Tajay Spears. The coaches did come out, though, and say they want to get Spears more involved. Tony looked good. Explosive, scored a touchdown, 16 carries to 4. They both got 4 targets. So really strong usage for Mr. Pollard there. And Will Levis did not look good. There's no way the Titans should have lost this game. And again, I think the Bears D is very legit, so should have better days when they play worse defenses. Patriots, they did a 4 wide receiver rotation here with Osborne, Douglas, Tyquan, and Polk. I would expect Polk his role to grow as the year goes, and that probably I don't know who that's going to come at expense of. Possibly Osborne, more likely Tyquan. Baker was inactive. Kendrick Bourne still in IR. So when he returns, is he going to work his way in there too? I really wouldn't pick up anyone and manage, but encouraging usage here. Ultimately, this team wants to run the ball. They want to shorten the game. They want to ratchet up the variance and try to steal some wins like they did the other day. Hunter Henry, 24 routes run, strong usage there. Austin Hooper, going to be more. There was some buzz on this, but probably going to be more involved in this offense than anyone wants, which is bad for everyone. And Ramondre, absolutely king usage. In trailing game scripts, will we get this? I don't know. That's where I expect we would get some more Antonio Gibson, who barely played. On the Bengals side, super strong usage for Yoshi Voss. Most snaps played on the offense, 100% snap rates. Ran the most routes on the team, 5 targets. Didn't come down with a touchdown. Didn't have a lot of yards. Better days ahead there. Probably once T. Higgins returns, he gets less defensive attention. So slam dunk pick in best ball, Yoshi Voss. Jamar Chase will have better days ahead. Nearly was full snap rate, but gonna improve that. Trent Irwin was the 3rd wide receiver of choice. Bad news for Jermaine Burton and Charlie Jones. Again, I think Burton will grow into a role possibly as the year goes. And once Higgins returns, he probably, I think he'll be in a time like Yoshi Voss and Irwin will still be in a timeshare with it being like 70% Yoshi Voss or Irwin goes to 0. Mike Gesicki ran the most routes as a tight end, but they did play blocking tight end Drew Sample a lot. Eric All is a rookie. They also played Tanner Hudson, so this is like some borderline cult shit here. Is Yoshi Voss running wind sprints? Yeah, like I wouldn't say Yoshi Voss is a managed priority target. If he's cheap, I would hold him. But yeah, he's probably more of a wind sprinter here. Zach Moss, the clear RB1 in games where 9 carries to 3, 17 routes, 4 targets. So I mean, Chase Brown can still get there on this type of usage if he's explosive. But in games where the Bengals are leading, I'd expect that to be some pretty Moss heavy game script. So excited for my Moss bags against the Broncos week 17. Do we panic with Blake Corum? We'll get to that game. On the Texan side, yeah, Tank, there's room for all of these wide receivers to get there. Nico Diggs, Tank. Tank actually ran the 2nd most routes. It's going to be hard to know who will have what day, who to play what day. I will say that I think Nico is a pretty strong play against the Bears. Calvin Ridley was running wide open, and Levis just couldn't get him. Diggs did come down with, I think, 2 touchdowns on only 6 targets. So Diggs is playing more over Tank in blocking snaps. We don't really care about that. John Mechie was a surprise scratch after the Texans released Noah Brown. They elected to play Robert Woods and Xavier Hutchinson. I think Mechie will get that role as the year goes on, but not a viable guy. Dalton Schultz still didn't have a good day in the box score, but 64 snaps, 31 routes run. He's liable to have a good day any day of the week when he's playing that much. Brevin Jordan played a lot as a blocking tight end. Joe Mixon, pretty much 100% snap rate. This is wheels up RB1 usage. And yes, even though Cam Akers was inactive, it's still not the Dameon Pierce show, as Dari Ngumbuwale, the 30-year-old veteran, still played more snaps than Dameon Pierce. On the Colts side, Pittman, Pierce, Mitchell, this is insane. Alec Pierce, 20 routes run, 3 targets, 3 catches, 140 yards. Like, my God. One Josh Downs returns. I still think Alec Pierce will be the one removed from the field eventually. I think in the beginning, it will probably be Mitchell. But I think eventually Mitchell's talent will shine through over Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is not good at getting separation, but he is good at running fast downfield. And when you have a quarterback like Anthony Richardson, you're liable to have some big days. I would not be the one spending a lot of fab dollars on Alec Pierce. Like, I legitimately would probably only spend like $1 or $2 if I needed a wide receiver. Not good usage, just ran really well. Michael Pittman, Saw 7 targets, but yeah, like this is why me and a lot of people faded Pittman. It's just hard to get home in an Anthony Richardson passing offense off of this usage. Jonathan Taylor, nearly 100% snaps, nearly 100% routes run. So mega usage for him. Trey Sermon was banged up. I'm expecting this number to come down a little bit. I just don't think the Colts are going to want to do this. It was a division game. And then ugly tight end rotation here. Kylan Granson just barely is the tight end 1 in snaps run. Dolphins, Jags. Waddle got, he got checked out for concussion, so he missed a couple plays because of that. But pretty much the Waddle and Tyreek and Achane show over here. 12 targets for Tyreek, absolutely absurd. Jonnu Smith, only 16 routes run, 2 targets. Not great that they're in a 3 tight end rotation. Even with this, though, in best ball, in managed, of course, Jonnu unplayable. In DFS, Jonnu pretty much unplayable. But in best ball, the thesis hasn't really changed for Jonnu. Catch a 5-yard ball, go rumble 80 yards. That's the hope for him. No, don't pick up Braxton Berrios. Not really a big part of the offense. Eventually, we're assuming Malik Washington. And then even further down the road, Odell Beckham Jr. will be the wide receiver 3 and 4 of this offense. Robbie Chosen's back on the team. I didn't even know that. Achane, I mean, just incredible usage. Me and a ton of people got excited about Achane. I ended up with 40% Achane in the DK Millie Maker somehow. And yeah, just incredible. 10 carries, 7 targets. Mostert also ran a lot of routes, but, old man Mostert probably goes down. Jalen Wright is on the Achane path. He was a healthy and active. No, I mean, it's going to take him a little bit to ramp up, but he should eventually be the RB3. Both Achane and Mostert, I believe, are banged up. So I think, Jalen Wright will eventually be the guy there if that were to occur. Achane getting goal line carries, that's some wheels up shit right there. Rusty asking, is this info behind a paywall? It is not. This is free info. Find it on Nathan Yankee's Twitter. On the Jag side, Christian Kirk didn't run as many routes or play as many snaps. I mean, he ran pretty much the same amount of routes as Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, Ingram, and ETN. Like, these are the pass catching threats on this team. Kirk, of course, was returning from injury, so maybe his snap rate increases. But yeah, I think it's logical that the Jags want Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas to be their blocking tight end and blocking wide receivers when they're running the ball. So better days ahead for really all these guys. Gabe Davis had an okay day. Brian Thomas scored a touchdown, but needs to be better. Christian Kirk busted, but, again, ramp up there. Should have better days. No one else really played. Evan Ingram, pretty much a bust in fantasy, but yeah, he'll have better days as well. It was just so evenly distributed, like 3, 4, 4, 4. They barely passed. They somehow lost when they shouldn't have. The real story here is, although ETN scored a goal line touchdown, Tank Bigsby and him had an equal amount of carries. So that would be a mega hit to ETN's fantasy value and a mega boost to Bigsby's. Bigsby, a strong waiver pickup if he's out there. Of course, he won't be in bigger leagues. ETN, still the pass catching back. Also got the goal line carry, 3 targets. So he'll be fine not running 100% of the rushing workload, but still notable that this was a 50-50 split. Moving on. Saints land, Rashid Shaheed off of 5 targets, scored a deep touchdown. Fire up teams against the Panthers defense. They still suck. The Bucs get them week 17. Olave busted, but again, you can't really take much from a game where you're playing. They just trounced the Panthers. So Olave and Shaheed played the most, ran the most routes at wide receiver. There is no third wide receiver really to speak of. Mason Tipton is a rookie, so possible his role grows. And again, I don't know what, like, it kind of makes sense that they would be 12 personnel, 2 tight end heavy in a game they just led front to back. Maybe they get a third wide receiver more involved against Dallas this upcoming week. Taysom Hill, 5 carries, 6 routes run, 2 targets. This is pretty Taysom Hillis. Didn't play much, but again, maybe that had to do with the game script. Foster Moreau came down with a touchdown, played a lot of snaps, most is blocking. Juwan and Foster ran the most routes. Alvin Kamara, pretty strong usage, 15 carries, 14 routes run, 5 targets. Jamal Williams was the RB2, not a lot to speak of, but he did get 11 carries, probably most of that in garbage time. Panthers land, they ran 5 wide receivers, 4 pretty equally. Mingo, Leggett, Deontay, and Adam Thielen. Leggett, who got 7 targets, super encouraging there, even though a lot of those were as the game ended. We're going to expect his role to grow, and we're going to expect Mingo's role to shrink or Thielen's role to and/or. Like, both these guys should be going lower as the season goes, unless the Panthers just decide it's Mingo over Thielen eventually. Deontay Johnson, it's going to be hard for the Deontay Johnson hive mind to get there. Yeah, I didn't really want anything to do with the expensive pieces on the Panthers. In PPR, I'm sure he'll have some better days. But yeah, really, really rough outlook for Panthers. Not even Dave Canales could fix Bryce Young. And maybe Dave Canales didn't fix Geno and Baker. Maybe they fixed themselves, So I don't know. A little bit there for both. Jatavian Sanders, encouraging route runs by him. We'll have to see if this holds up because they had their other 2 tight ends were inactive for this game. So even though he's a rookie, I think he's a decent best ball pick. He's an okay, like FFPC tight end premium leagues for cheap. Sure, why not hold Sanders? See if you can get an injury or something, and he becomes more wheels up. But it's tough to be excited about Panthers pieces. Chuba and Miles. I mean, Miles played more than we anticipated, which is really bad news for the Chuba Hubbard people. Drafted him at 120. People adding some extra notes there. Etienne a second touchdown as Graspa fumbled. Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. going to have some huge days. I agree. Tank did look good. Vikings, Jefferson scored a touchdown. And I see some people victory lapping that Sam Darnold had a good game. Let's pause the brakes there until they don't face the Giants. Viking schedule gets pretty tough now. 49ers, okay, if they have a good game there, sure. Texans, I don't know what to think of their defense, but it seems passable. Jets, tough. Lions, tough. Packers, not the toughest, not the easiest. So, I don't know. I don't know what you can take away from any team playing the Commanders, playing the Giants. God, man, what are the Giants doing paying Daniel Jones? So, Jalen Naylor, 12 routes run, 1 target, 1 touchdown. Decent best ball flyer for those who took him in the 18th, 20th. Brandon Powell still played a lot of snaps, pretty equal routes, but I think we would expect Naylor to take over Powell as the season goes. Jordan Addison was having a decent day, aggravated his ankle again. I think MRIs were fine there, but something to monitor. Addison, of course, had a high ankle sprain already. Johnny Munt and Josh Oliver kind of split the tight end, with Munt being running more routes. So he seems like the tight end 1 in the interim there. Trent Sherfield just blocking. Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler in a pretty even snap split, but Jones got more work, of course, but it was pretty equal. 14 carries, 2 targets, 8 carries, 3 targets. So, and again, the Vikings just kind of destroyed the Giants. So who knows what you could take away from Vikings land. Aaron Jones looks good, though. On the Giants side, I'd say the real story is a couple spots. One, Wan'Dale Robinson, PPR Scam King, is drawing very live. Only 37 routes, but 11 targets. All short ADOT, of course. So you like this in best ball, even in managed, if you need to get 10 points, 12 points. Wandale seems like a decent dart throw there. Neighbors, he'll have better days ahead, but yeah, I don't know. Daniel Jones got to get together. Slayton far outplayed Hyatt, so Hyatt like left this game pissed off, I think, with his eye black still on. Um, don't know if that's going to go over well with the coaching staff. So yeah, I guess the Slayton drafters, small victory lap over the Hyatt drafters, but again, it's a Giants piece. So what are you really winning? It's going to be hard for Neighbors to pay off even with his talent level, but I'm sure he will have some huge games. Theo Johnson, the clear tight end one there as a rookie, super athletic guy. This is, I mean, great best ball pick in the 20th round. Again, it's a Giants piece. What do you win when you win? But 39 routes run, 4 targets. Again, rookie, just straight up way outplayed Bellinger and Manhurts. So Theo Johnson going to be a decent punt tight end any given week with this many routes run for a Giants team. Singletary, the clear RB1. No one's surprised there. Tyrone Tracy did run 11 routes, though, so pretty nice. Yeah, I heard this. Apparently, the Rome injury came from Velus Jones running into him. I take every good thing about Velus Jones' said back. Just kidding. Moving on. Chargers versus Raiders. A lot of talk about here. Josh Palmer got ejected for fighting. Really, that wasn't his fault, but whatever. Palmer, McConkey, QJ, the clear 3 wide receivers for the Chargers until DJ Chark returns, and maybe even after DJ Chark returns. Simi, Fehoko, and Darius Davis barely played, so great news for QJ that he is going to be the wide receiver 3, at least in the short term. And then, yeah, Ladd and Palmer, clearly see like the 1 and 2 there. Hayden Hurst, Will Dissly, I talked about this. He's a blocking tight end. You looked at his RAS profile. You looked at his stats. He's a nothing burger. So Hayden Hurst, he'll be the tight end you want there. Decent pickup in FFPC leagues, etc. If you really need a tight end dart. Of course, kind of old. Not the most exciting pass game, but decent selection. Dobbins and Edwards split the carries pretty evenly, and the snaps was in Dobbins' favor. But the real story here is after both of them struggled in the first half, eventually the Chargers wore down the Raiders, and Dobbins housed 2 long runs. He scored on one of them. Ooh, my mistake. Scored on one of them. He's clearly not fully healthy, right? Or maybe he's healthy for what he currently can do, but he's not pre-injury Dobbins where he accelerates great, but his top speed is not there, where he got ran down by some slow corners and safeties. This can go one of 2 ways in my mind. Either one, as the season goes, Dobbins will get more and more healthy and it will go more and more his way and he'll get more and more, back. Or as the season goes and, hits pile up, Dobbins will be a ticking time bomb. He's liable to lose it at any moment, and he's going to go to 0. And in managed leagues, you might want to sell high. I wouldn't sell high this week because the Chargers play. Who do they play? They play a really bad team. They play the Panthers. So probably don't want to sell high this week. And also I don't know. He did nothing in the first half, and then they wore the Raiders down. That's probably their game plan. It's for the season. My question is, are they going to be able to do that against non-Raiders teams? Are they going to be able to smash mouth the Chiefs? Probably not. They are probably going to be able to do that, though, against the Panthers, Steelers, Broncos, Cardinals. Saints may be a tougher test. So I'd probably want to sell high on Dobbins and managed. But if you want to hold, I think that's fine. Great. Looking like a good best ball pick at the moment. Of course, he's so cheap. I'm still expecting Kamani Vidal to get involved as the year goes. And yeah, like Gus Edwards is what he is. I think he'll have some big games via the touchdown department. And it'll be interesting. Like, I'm going to be curious what the Chargers do if they are beating the brakes off the Panthers. Do they let Dobbins get a lot of garbage time carries, or do they try to save him and let Gus take that work? Because that's a small blow to Dobbins. Dobbins is strongly the preferred pass catching running back, out routing Gus Edwards by 11 routes there and getting 3 targets to Edwards 1. Edwards still injured. This is possible because he was banged up, of course, off surgery, but I don't know. I would say, like, I drafted a lot of Herbert. I was just kind of like, hey, it's Herbert. Like, he's got to pass more. Not an encouraging debut. But again, maybe this had more to do with them playing the Raiders, and maybe we get some better days ahead. I'm going to have a whole, like, waiver wire show by itself tomorrow. But yes, I would swap Bigsby for Gibson, but it's very close. So, like, if you want to just wait a couple weeks, that seems fine to me. On the Raiders side, Trey Tucker, the clear wide receiver 3. We all knew that. Strong route runs by him. Kind of surprising that Michael Mayer didn't run more routes. Brock Bowers, really, really strong usage for his first game as a pro. 31 routes, 7 targets, no carries. We know he's going to get involved there too. The number 1 target leader as a rookie, huge. The biggest story here is, yeah, Zamir White, gonna be tough to pay off if he's in a time split with Madison. Matt White outcarried Madison, but Madison strongly ran more routes than White, strongly got more targets. Madison did score a long touchdown. So Madison looking like a great late round best ball pick. I was drafting a lot of him on 0 RP teams purely out of desperation. So seems decent. Mayer, also a fine best ball pick. Tucker will have some big days ahead. Gonna be tough for Adams and Myers if the Raiders just stink due to their cost. But yeah, I think you should be excited about Bowers for sure. And I'm sure Zamir will have some fine games in games where the Raiders can front run, but it's tough, guys. And like Dylan Lobby probably becomes a thing as the season goes. So yeah, panic meter pretty high on Zamir. That's why a lot of people were out on him. Broncos, Seattle. This game was kind of weird where Seattle played like shit to begin, but then eventually won out. So Lockett, who's been like banged up, out-targeted everyone on the team. He's not at 100% snaps. JSN did play over him. So you can view this as one of 2 ways. I was surprised to see this, but I full faded JSN in BBM 5. I knew that like JSN used to be in the 90s and 100s, and I drafted him in a couple high stakes teams at that cost, like 2 or 3, and I was like, whatever, I'm gonna pay it that way. I'm not a huge believer in it. Terrible stat line in game 1. Probably better days ahead. If he is going to be 25 routes run, 53 snaps, that's awesome. But I think it's fair to question if Lockett's going to grow more as he gets healthier, or maybe they just want to load manage Lockett for the whole season. Lockett made a sick catch on one of the downs to get a first down, on like 3rd down to get a first down and help cinch the game for them. So looked good, produced well. Metcalf, face Patrick Surtain, better days ahead there. Noah Fant, really strong usage from him. Just the clear in the mix here as the 4th pass catcher. Ken Walker got banged up, probably will be okay. But Charbonnet played a lot because of that and scored a long touchdown. Walker looked good. So did Charbonnet. So we'll see how that usage bears out. On the Broncos side, yeah, I mean, a lot of people were excited about the Broncos this offseason. I was more in the camp of probably I don't want to wade into the ambiguity of a most likely a shitty team. They completed a lot of passes, but it's just not good right now. Like, Bo Nix did rush them, so you like that if you have Bo Nix. Javonte and Jaleel, nothing really to write home about. 6 targets for Jaleel, that's awesome. But like 1 yard or something. Not really fooling anyone there. Estime had an explosive run, and then I think he fumbled or something. Greg Dulcich, really strong routes run by him. Should have better days ahead. Was super cheap, so he's fine in best ball. Devon Bailey, super cheap as well. Josh Reynolds, super cheap. So all the cheap parts, I think, were fine to mix in. But, and maybe the Broncos improve. He is a rookie. But yeah, not great first unveiling, and super encouraging again by Dulcich running 36 routes. I think he's a decent pickup in tight end premium. On the Cowboys side, Zeke and Dowdle pretty much in a true 50-50 split here. As far as routes run, as far as carries, Zeke did score a touchdown, but again, that's probably going to be a little bit random. So both are seeming like good picks. What will happen if Dalvin Cook becomes a part? I don't know. It would be bad for both probably. Jake Ferguson left with an injury, believed to not be serious as people thought. So he will probably return in a couple weeks. Six targets. Other places has down as 5, but strong target totals in a game where the Cowboys just crushed. Jalen Tolbert is the clear wide receiver 3, but not a lot of room for targets behind CeeDee Lamb. But he'll probably, like Yoshi Voss, he'll have better days ahead. Jalen Brooks looked good, so maybe he could eat into Tolbert's role as the year goes, but barely played. And yeah, 10 targets for CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott got paid. Good for Dak. Smart decision by the Cowboys, in my opinion. And kind of surprising for Brandon Cooks, 7 targets. He did score a touchdown as well. So he is what he is. He's a boom bust, Gabe Davis-esque guy. And I would expect Luke Schoonmaker to probably be the tight end 1 in the interim until Ferguson returns. They did get rid of Peyton Hendershot as well. On the Brown side, wheels up usage for Jerome Ford, 37 routes, 12 carries, 7 targets. That is awesome. Again, this is why I had so much Ford. Like, even when Chubb returns, I'm expecting him to be the pass catching running back of choice. Ken Dorsey is the Browns offensive coordinator, previously of the Bills. He is a very pass happy guy. D'Onta Foreman, stock majorly down. He's a cut and manage. Probably has few outs in best ball either. Pierre Strong just comfortably ahead of him. I think the writing was on the wall for that one the past month or so of best ball season. And Elijah Moore, just clearly ran more routes than Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy scored a touchdown here. Amari Cooper just missed on a long touchdown, 9 targets for him. So Jeudy clearly per choice over Tillman. Maybe this had to do with like how dysfunctional the Browns offense was, because Elijah Moore is more capable of creating for himself, where he's kind of like Greg Dortch, right? Like, you throw him the ball, you let him just try to zig through. So maybe just a bad sign for the Browns offense as a whole. Deshaun Watson looks like ass, but probably has a little bit to do with playing the Cowboys defense. Probably some better days ahead there. Njoku was balling out, and then he got hurt. I do not know the status report there. Jordan Akins replaced him. And yeah, Tillman, pretty much nothing. Bucks, Commanders, McMillan, the clear wide receiver 3. Only 3 targets, scored a touchdown. Should have had another one. Usage should ramp up. Not a ton of targets for the Bucks, but when you're playing the Commanders, I guess it doesn't matter. Cade Otton, still the tight end 1 there. And then, I've not dived into when Bucky's snaps came as far as what was the score. Rachaad White was the 2-minute back, which is, you care about who the 2-minute back is, because that's the running back who's going to get dump offs a lot in 2-minute drills. And that's like, that gives you a lot, like that can give you like 3 fantasy points, 4 fantasy points right there. So White still the 2-minute drill back, 15 carries, 5 targets. Bucky Irving, really strong usage, but again, I don't know when that came. 22 routes run for White is very strong, but maybe Bucky eats into that as the year goes on. For the Commanders, Terry also just missed on a deep bomb. Cliff Kingsbury doing Cliff shit, keeping Terry on one side of the field. We don't love that. Luke McCaffrey tackled at the 1 yard line, caught a 2-minute conversion or a 2-point conversion with like his foot half an inch out. So better days ahead for like really, really encouraging usage for Luke McCaffrey. 24 routes run was third on the team, second amongst wide receivers, 3 targets. Again, like Jaden Daniels, not the biggest pass volume quarterback, especially to start, but would expect McCaffrey to improve. Good news that he's already ahead of Dami Brown and Alamide Zaccheaus. If and when Noah Brown becomes a thing, I think that comes at the expense of Dami Brown and Zaccheaus. Zach Ertz, the clear tight end 1 in pass catching department for now, but how long can that continue if the Commanders are losing games? Hopefully we see Ben Sinnott improve sooner than later. At least he ran 3 routes. Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler, pretty much in a 50-50 timeshare for snaps. B-Rob got the same amount of targets as Eckler and also had 13 carries. Tough news for Brian Robinson is he got tackled at the 1, I think twice. Again, caught like an explosive screen. And, you know, Jaden Daniels is not Anthony Richardson as far as how big he is. He's only like 205 pounds. So I'm expecting Brian Robinson to score a lot near the goal line. But in this game, Jaden Daniels called his own number and scored. And maybe that will be here to stay. Not the best, though, for your quarterback's longevity if you're down 20 and you're trying to get rushing touchdowns for the QB. But, hey, in fantasy, we don't care. This is awesome for Daniels. 8 carries. We love to see. Scored 30 points. The night game, the last one here till we get to some questions, etc. Rams versus Lions. So the big thing here is Puka Nacua. I mean, he was fine. He was healthy. He got shoved by Anzalone and then exited. I don't know how serious that injury is. Something to monitor. Cooper Kupp got an insane 21 targets. I've honestly, I don't remember seeing a stat like this. 51 routes, 21 targets. He's going to be a monster in that department until Puka returns. Whittington, pretty much a 0 to begin. Tutu Atwell, also a 0. Tyler Johnson, where did this guy come from? He was the 3rd/2nd wide receiver of choice. Demarcus Robinson, 7 targets, didn't do much with it. 47 routes run. Colby Parkinson, great usage from him. Definitely would pick him up off the waiver, especially in tight end premium. He's going to be a thing either all year or at least until Higbee returns. So really strong pick there. I don't have enough Colby Parkinson. I did get on there the last month of the season, but to begin, I was pretty hesitant. Davis Allen, pretty much nothing. Blake Corum did not play on offense after all this Kyren Williams flood. Kyren Williams wasn't particularly efficient, but 18 carries, 43 routes run, and he gets the Cardinals this week, so Kyren should smash. Whittington had a touchdown called back. That is fair. On the Lions side, man, rough for me. I've drafted Jameson Williams every year. I did not draft as much this year. I mean, he's had a ton of points called back in the past and looked awesome in this game. We'll see how he performs against other defensive schemes, but super encouraging usage for him. Scored, a touchdown, almost 2. Amon-Ra did not have a great day. I would not panic about him. I would buy him low if someone is. I would also buy low on Sam Laporta if someone's panicking after the JMO game. 27 routes run, still really strong. Cleve Raymond, wide receiver 3, like we thought. No targets. So what are we doing there? Gibbs and Montgomery, 50-50 snaps. Gibbs targeted more. And Montgomery runs it more. Gibbs did get some goal line carries, which is also encouraging for him in the future. Sion Vaki saw the field, so we like that. Phew. All right, and again, that's shout out to Nathan Yankee of PFF. So, The Ravens 2-minute drill back is not Isaiah Likely. It is Justice Hill. Like, that is also why Justice Hill is a pretty big pickup. Can you speak on the propensity of the fans community when it comes to overreacting to week one? Rusty saying if we can't victory/panic, what do we? Yeah, like, I'm a firm believer that fantasy football should be fun, So, and part of the fun is trash talking. So, sure, victory lap. If you drafted Alec Pierce, I want to see a victory lap on the timeline about that. Like, shout out to all the haters. Where's all my Alec Pierce lovers? Something like that. Also, patience is key. Like, I wouldn't be I'll probably have an article on this on just like positive, negative regressions. If a Kincaid owner is panicking, buy cheap. If a Trey McBride owner is panicking, buy cheap. Mark Andrews, buy cheap. Like, all these guys ran enough routes where they're going to have better days in the fantasy department. Andrews, I'm a little bit more worried about just because, again, he had tightrope procedure and the car accident. But, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mac Jones crushed week one. People were victory lapping Hunter Henry last year, and then we saw that. But that was sign that the Eagles defense sucked. Jake saying McMillan should have 3 touchdowns. Snaps weren't really affected. White played the last series. Good color. Thanks for adding. Drafting rookies over Mike Evans things at the moment. Yeah, man. Like, I went into the year and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it again. I'm drafting Mike Evans. And I did that for a while. And then I started drafting just pretty much DJ Moore a lot at that pick and Brandon Ayuk. 49ers haven't played. I feel great about the 49ers pieces still. And I think DJ Moore will have better days, as will the Bears. Let's go through the top scorers. This is courtesy of Fantasy Pros. Josh Allen, QB1, no surprises. Again, he scored 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns to Shakir and Matt Collins. Baker Mayfield, QB2. Not going to hold up, but, quarterbacks against the Commanders, let's do it. Except for maybe Daniel Jones this week. I don't know. Jaden Daniels scored 2 touchdowns in garbage time. I don't know about that. Anthony Richardson, not a lot of pass volume. He's going to get there on the ground, though, so pretty strong pick. Still think he could be QB1 on the year. Lamar was pressured a lot, causing him to run more. We'll see what the Ravens offense looks like when they face worse defenses than the Chiefs. Derek Carr had a great day. Let's see what they're like, not against the Panthers. Geno scored a rushing touchdown. CJ Stroud. Again, like, it's going to be hard for Stroud to pay off draft capital unless he literally, like, this is a lesson for Stroud, for Mahomes. Like, this is why I didn't draft a ton of these guys, even though I like them. I love their passing game pieces, but it is hard for expensive pocket passing QBs to pay off in fantasy. It just is, right? They don't have the outs to Josh Allen. Josh Allen scored probably like 17 points on the ground. That would have put him at 14 points without his rushing workload. Stroud scored 19 through the air. That's good, but it's not, he really needs to throw for 5,050 touchdowns to be a QB1. Tua had a touchdown wiped out. Better days ahead there. Hurts, I wouldn't panic about Hurts in the tush push. That field was such shit that it prevented him from cutting, in my opinion. Jordan Love, really hoping he's okay. Got a lot of Packers pieces. I do think he is pretty similar to Stroud, just cheaper, as are the Packers pieces. And then Stafford was our QB12 on the week. We'll see what the Rams are like if Puka misses serious time. Hope he is okay. Moving on to running back. And I think we'll look at this through a PPR lens. Saquon was RB1 on the week. He scored 3 touchdowns. He's not going to do that every week. He did look explosive, but yeah, the touchdowns really buoyed this. Joe Mixon usage, like both these guys are locked for strong usage though. Joe Mixon, incredible usage. He also scored some touchdowns. Achane, just smash. Hope he's healthy. J.K. Dobbins, we talked about. I want to see what the Chargers are like against non-Panthers opponents, but should be a pretty strong spot this upcoming week. Alvin Kamara, again, Panthers defense, but strong usage. Ramondre, let's see what the Patriots are like in non-leading game scripts. I'm expecting Gibson to play a lot more when that occurs. James Conner, strong usage, but like I think that was like a function of how dysfunctional the Cardinals offense is. So like maybe we small panic button on the Cardinals offense. They were not running a real functional offense in my mind. They also they had a chance to win the game against the Bills or at least tie it up. And they decided to run the ball like in the Bills territory on like 3rd and 3. And it just got stuffed. Like, put that ball in Kyler's hands. Kyler was running all day. Jerome Ford scored a garbage time touchdown, but seeming like a strong 0 running back pick right now. Ken Walker, he played the Broncos. Let's see what it's like against other teams. He's also banged up. Aaron Jones scored a touchdown. Kind of funny, these 3 tied. And then Tony Pollard also scored a touchdown. So, hey, you score touchdowns, you're going to have good days in fantasy. In the 0 RB versus expensive RB camp, I would say Saquon was expensive. Mixon was expensive. Achane was expensive. Kamara was semi-expensive. Walker was expensive. And then on the cheaper side, I would say Dobbins was cheap. Again, Kamara could go either way. Ramondre was pretty cheap. James Conner, relatively cheap. Jerome Ford, really cheap. Tony Pollard, cheap. Aaron Jones, pretty cheap. And Brian Robinson, pretty cheap. So a pretty decent mix there, honestly. Moving on to wide receiver. Jayden Reed, man. Like, again, I've talked about this, but like to start the year, I wasn't doing enough of the Packers. And then I just started to draft, like the 6th round pretty much just became like Jayden Reed or Rome Odunze for me. I had Jayden Reed ranked so high. Love to see this usage. I would say that the field makes it hard to assess the Packers offense as a whole because I saw Wick slip on routes. I saw Watson slip on routes. I do think Weed and Watson are the top guys to own for fantasy in the wide receiver room. And all of them are zeros until we get Jordan Love back. If Malik Willis is the quarterback, that's disastrous for the passing game. If Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback, I think he can function a Jayden Reed. He can allow one guy to get there a week. He's not going to be Jordan Love good though. Cooper Kupp got 21 targets, probably not sustainable, guys. But scored super well, scored a touchdown. Game went to overtime as well. Of course, the Rams didn't touch the ball in overtime. Tyreek scored a long touchdown. Also was arrested. Probably even better days for him. Jameson Williams scored a long touchdown. Pretty low wide receiver scoring week. Again, this week was super run heavy for teams. Mike Evans scored 2 touchdowns. So, strong game from him, but he's not going to score 2 touchdowns every week. And only scoring 23 points off 2 touchdowns against the Commanders D when your corner is like 160 pounds is like, I don't know if we see that, Yeah, and I agree. Like, Mixon's in for hell of a year. No chance Mixon sees 30-plus carries. Like, yeah, like I wouldn't. The running back stuff is so wacky week to week. A.J. Brown, has a long touchdown. Probably even better days ahead for him. Godwin, again, Commanders D. But Bucks are legit. Like, they're a fringe playoff team, if not a legit playoff team. Diggs was the highest scoring Texan wide receiver of week off of 2 touchdowns. Alec Pierce, fluky, like total fluky score here. Xavier Worthy ran decent routes, not a lot strong target route run. So I'm gonna guess the hype on Worthy goes a little bit far from where it should be as far as like people playing him in DFS. But at the same time, like I think Worthy is legitimately a good wide receiver. I think Rashee Rice is clearly the number 1 target earner over Worthy. But when you have Worthy's skill set, you're going to be liable to have huge fantasy games any given week. And then Nico Collins, no touchdowns, but just a grown-ass man, capable of winning any given week. Two Texans wide receivers get there. A lot of this has to do with it being the Texans. Also, you want to be targeting the Colts secondary. Tight end, the last thing we'll do here. Isaiah Likely by far and clear the tight end one. Also, he had that touchdown wiped away. Almost had 34 points. Foster Moreau, tight end 2. Come on now. Brock Bowers, tight end 3. Really strong, encouraging usage from the rookie. Pitts, really not strong usage, but he scored a touchdown. Juwan, also a touchdown. Chig scored a touchdown. Colby Parkinson, pretty good selection. You know, he's not likely. I'm excited for Conklin tonight, but yeah. Laporta, better days ahead. Njoku, hopefully he's okay. McBride, definitely better days ahead. Goddard, better days ahead. Kelsey is among the elite tight ends, he's the one I would be a little bit worried about just because I'm that level of excited about Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and Pacheco. Like, I think those are the three best Chiefs players for fantasy football. I think Kelsey is not as good. I think Mahomes is not as good, because both are expensive. And yes, Kelsey's going to have some games, but why would the Chiefs not want to get Worthy involved to prepare? 100% of routes is awesome, but if Kirk Cousins is a disaster, until Michael Penix gets out there, the whole passing game is going to struggle. All right, that was a deep dive. Let's collect our thoughts here. See if any Josh Allen hand injury. Not super concerned. I think he would have played, but yeah, something to monitor there. Is Javonte dead? I never was really into an expensive Bronco, but probably better days ahead. I don't know, man. I'm rooting for Dobbins to stay healthy. I'm hoping that we have made a scientific improvement, Yeah, Anthony Richardson, man, absurd arm talent. Literally off his back foot, flat-footed, throwing it 70 yards. The car on slot was looking like the nuts for 5 minutes. Did Kirk look bad? If you're talking about Kirk Cousins, yeah, man. The Achilles seems like a legitimate problem. If you're talking about Christian Kirk, I'm sure he'll be fine. Which Packer benefits from Love injury? Usage-wise, probably Josh Jacobs, but really no one. It's just generally not a good thing if your offense is worse, So even though Jacobs was going to have to share the ball more with the other players, if Jacobs is getting 30 carries for 60 yards, that doesn't do anything for you. You want him to score touchdowns. Saying that the Steelers was pretty much unblockable. Yeah, but I'm just telling you, man, if you watched Kirk Cousins play, it did not look great. Kincaid, we went over Kincaid, but I would definitely buy low on him. Super high routes run. He's probably going to have a good game against Miami. I do think, though, I've talked about this all year, where I think it was possible that the Bills were going to be kind of like a whack-a-mole, hard to figure out for season long. In my opinion, the guys you would like to own in that offense are still Kincaid, Coleman, pretty much equally those two guys. Coleman probably a little bit better due to cost. And then Shakir is the 3. And yeah, I think James Cook is good. Am I crazy to see the Raiders game and feel good about my lobby darts? Yeah, I don't think lobby will be a thing for a while or maybe ever this year. But you should be very encouraged that Zamir White is not a passing game threat at all. So if something happens to Madison, or maybe even eventually just they want to see lobby out there when they're 0-12, it's great news that Zamir will not be a 3-down back. Madison or Justice Hill? I would prefer Justice Hill there. Don't overreact to week 1. Yeah, don't overreact and don't underreact either. I think underreacting would be if you're no, Isaiah Likely, he's a nothing. And no, Isaiah Likely is not going to score as well as he did every week. But come on. Drop Trevor Lawrence for Baker this week. That is very matchup dependent for me with those types of QBs. Almost every QB is matchup dependent. So the Bucs play the Lions, and the Lions defense is a lot better. And the Jaguars play the Browns, which is one of the best defenses in the league. So honestly, maybe I'd play Baker there, but pretty much a coin flip. Yeah, I don't know how the Jags lost. Like, that's honestly malpractice. Yeah, Musgrave, extremely disappointing. Like, so Kraft is seeming like a really solid late round tight end, especially because he's not 100% drafted. He is a good yak guy. And Musgrave is probably better at running like real routes, but he's not as good as Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Dobbs, and Wicks at that. So when you're the fifth best tight end or the fifth best route runner on your team, I do think he'll have better days in best ball. But in managed, like kind of like Komet, I'm okay cutting him. Bills receivers look pretty solid. Yeah, like Matt Collins. If Matt Collins is a thing, that's not great for anyone. Um, again, I think you need to throw this game out. Like, how can you like this? I mean, it's ridiculous. How are you going to cite? He got 2 targets. Are you going to cite the ADOT? From watching the game, I'm telling you, they tried to have him score a touchdown, and he ran like a 60-yard route as a tight end. Like, there's not many tight ends like that. Shakir's fun. Yes, he's fun. He's super fun in the sense that he's a pinball. So, like, if you don't wrap him, he's going to bounce off. That's good for Yak. He's also like his touchdown score was sick. I think you should be a little bit worried that Curtis Samuel playing more would come at the expense of him, but he also could just improve down the line, you know? We're going to do waiver wire content tomorrow, but between Madison, Bigsby, and Bucky, easily Bucky. Like way easily Bucky. Yeah, I would feel good about that too. Yeah, I would definitely prefer Kraft. We didn't go over that game, but I would pick up Kraft. He's not going to be a super startable guy, especially without Jordan Love. Should I trade Mixon for ETN? You know, Uzi, probably not. Like, if you can get them to throw, like, if you can get them to throw in more, like, if someone's trying to trade you ETN for Mixon, they're panicking. And so if I could get them to panic and also give me a good wide receiver, like, give me ETN and DJ Moore, then yeah, I would trade Mixon. And guys, when you're deciding early season trades, look at the schedule of your players. Like, don't trade J.K. Dobbins this week when he gets the Panthers, you know? No, Likely's not going anywhere. Yeah, Andrews will be a bigger thing, but like Likely looks like a firm, at worst, third target of the offense if it's not Justice Hill. I think there will be better days ahead for Caleb Williams, but I won't lie. It was a rough outing. I think we'll have to do some of these. Okay, Mike Evans scored 2 touchdowns and not even 30 fantasy points. So I think you're happy to have him. You're always happy when your players score 2 touchdowns. But if we're trying to be, if we're trying not to overreact, we should probably realize he's probably not going to score 2 touchdowns every week. I posted my BBM exposures on X and also made several videos on them, so you can check those out. No, I disagree. I don't think any Broncos wide receivers are good pickup darts for managed. And again, I would straight up prefer Sion Vaki over Dayon Veli. Sion Vaki has outs to being a valuable fantasy asset. Does a Broncos wide receiver? I don't know. Any showdown picks tonight? After seeing how Kirk Cousins preferred off his injury, 49ers defense probably a lock. I got a lot of Brian Thomas Jr. Excited for him. Right now, I'm just hoping that Rome is healthy. If he's not, that's wheels up for Keenan and more. Amongst this group, I'd be most concerned with Drake London because he was the most expensive. Not much, but he was the most. And I'm just more concerned about Kirk Cousins. You know, with Cooper, almost scored a touchdown, not gonna play Dallas defense every week. With Olave, his team scored like 40 points and he didn't have a great day, like better days ahead. And really great sign about the Saints is like they ran a modern offense. They like were one of the league leaders in pre-snap motion. Coleman or Brian Thomas Jr. in non PPR rest of season. Ooh. You know, like in managed, I think Coleman will probably be a little bit more consistent because it's seeming like he's drawing live to be the number one wide receiver. But I do think Brian Thomas Jr. is capable of having like bigger spikes because he's a faster player. Hurts in London for Josh Allen and Odunze. I'm the Josh team. I mean, Josh is better than Hurts, and Odunze could be out for the season. So, like, I don't know what this knee injury is. So, just with that info alone, it's probably prudent to trade away. Yeah, but also like London. See, the thing about the Falcons pieces is they have outs even if Kirk Cousins is shitty because you have Michael Penix. You know, I'm gonna have a specific waiver content tomorrow if you really want waiver. Yeah, there's definitely hope. Definitely hope for these guys. You know, at worst, they're contingent value. I think these, you know, two of these guys were rookies who will have their roles grow. We just went through the whole game, so we're not doing this. Yes, agree. Kyron a smash at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you don't after seeing like I would say injuries are usually unique to the person. So just because Kirk wasn't ready doesn't mean Rodgers won't be, but it looked rough. I think you have if you have Jaden Reed, you're just sitting tight and waiting for Jordan Love to be healthy. These recaps are fun. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, he's getting an MRI. No, I don't think I don't think it was going to be that way if Puka didn't get hurt. But if either is hurt in the interim, yes, then the other one is the clear whiteout one. My take changed at all on Pickens? I mean, we already talked about the game, but no. Like, I think he has a high ceiling, very low floor. I don't know how anyone could watch that game and come out excited about passing game pieces of the Steelers that were expensive. This is the town I grew up in. Yeah, this is true. Rodgers has had more time to recover. He's also older though. Dude, me either. Tyler Johnson, I was like, of course. Of course. Yeah, I'm typically a draft players from good teams person. Let your league mates know too, man. Come on now. Between Bucky, Chase Brown, and Javonte, which two would you prefer? Oof. Man. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think you can go wrong choosing any of the two. Zach Moss usage look encouraging. Yeah, man. Like I wrote the Zach Moss is one of the first running backs I wrote up, and I was like, basically, I was like, look, in years past, I would have said, fuck it, we're just betting on the explosive player. And this year, I was like, no, I really think Moss is going to be the goal line guy. I split it. I had more of Moss. Um, let's pull up my underdog. Do a draft or two. I'll be right back, squad. I would say, best ball wise, we should be most of the rookie running backs. I think you should be pretty encouraged about, not because most of them did anything, but because a lot of them saw the field. Like Ray Davis played. He saw some offensive snaps. He caught a target. Trey Benson played. Okay, Blake Corum and Jalen Wright, they both did not play. That's not good for those two. Bucky Irving played and did well. That's good. Who are the other rookie running backs I'm not thinking about? Yeah, Jeff Wilson. I don't think Jeff Wilson will be a thing forever, but maybe. Let's see. The Battle Royale is out. 30K to first. Vaki even he played. Estime played. Thank you. You should be excited if a guy even saw the field week 1 as a rookie, especially if he did some production, Vidal was inactive, but I still think there's better days ahead. Honestly, I didn't see Javonte as much. I'm not I know most of the streaming community were into the Sean Payton running back target narrative. I was just like, you know what? It's most likely that this team just sucks. And, unless it's PPR, it's hard to get by on shitty targets. Yes, betting on explosive guys is still a good, like James Cook. James Cook looked real, I still think James Cook could be a league winner. Shipley played, man. He didn't, I don't think he actually touched the ball, but he played and he played significantly on it down. So that's good. 1900 in real life. So online, that's 2000, 2100. If I was in a shallow league where there was better options, I'd be okay moving on from Palmer. But yeah, I wouldn't. Something to think through. Carson Steele played. Yes, you should be excited about that. Something to think through, guys, is what is the contingent upside of your player? So if Quentin Johnston rolls an ankle or Ladd McConkey does, now Josh Palmer is competing for targets with Simi Fehoko, and yeah, the Chargers passing game volume was pretty shit, but hopefully better days ahead there. Let's check in on my drafters teams first. This is a total point contest. Something I want to pull up first. I wrote about the top scoring teams last year. Let's see what the winning team scored. Call it 2794 divided by 17 weeks. So this team, the winning team, averaged 164 points a week. Last year, I think that's a little bit higher scoring than the year before. Let's check it out. You can find this at beatbestball.com. $27.34 divided by 17, 160. So yeah, you need to average 160 points-ish a week to win. So any team, and don't get me wrong, if you're averaging that, that means that you need a couple weeks where your team scores 200, 190, 210, But any team that scored 140, 130 plus, even less, they're in it. I don't have any teams super high. Looks like I have a bunch of teams 150 plus. I don't know if they have any. My top team right now is an Allen Watson team. Jahmyr Gibbs, White, Ken Walker, Pollard. So those 4 guys seem solid. Keaton Mitchell. Excited about him when he returns. Don't know if he'll be in time for total points. Garrett Wilson hasn't played. Diggs, Hollywood, won't be playing for a while. Ladd, Romeo, Gabe Davis, Downs, Wandale, Yoshivas, Chark is out. A likely team. So this team's so-so. It's kind of weak at wide receiver. Strong QB, pretty strong 3 tight ends, like usage-wise at least, for punting it off, and strong running back room. My other top team, Allen and Dak, Saquon and White. This team sucks. It's the running backs suck. Let's also look at my marathon teams. I have a ton of 49ers pieces, so if I can click this right. I think they need to improve the sweat a little bit on the we should be able to look up our names. Eventually, they're going to release the data, and then people like Patrick of bbmd.com are going to create their own leaderboards. But yeah, see, this is on your phone, at least it shows you the points. I know I have 2 or maybe 3 teams that are scoring well. Let's try to find one. I'm sure they're working on their live scoring. It's not perfect at Underdog, but I'm sure it will be better. Of course, it just keeps on loading the same team. Okay, so that's not working right now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It was a small glitch. Just kept on loading the same team. Let's try to win the primetime Palooza before we get out of here. Is Quinn Johnson straight droppable in Dynasty? I wouldn't say that, man. I mean, he was one of the. I mean, if there's the answer is always if there's someone better, then yeah. But would I drop him for Brendan Rice? No, I would not. We're doing one of these $10 primetime Paloozas. I'd relax about that, man. I mean, honestly, I understand you want to look at it, but I'm going to try to do this next week. It's not the worst thing in the world to simply put your phone away when the football games start, check in at halftime, check in at the end of the day. Saints coming back down to earth against Dallas next week? Almost assuredly, Kevin. Almost assuredly. I guess I should check out the rules here. 1 QB, 1 RB, 2 wideout, 1 flex, 1 tight end. And looks like this is Thursday game and tonight's game. 1-1-2-1-1. Wow. Having a tight end position is hilarious. Everyone needs to draft a tight end, and there's only really 3 you want. It's not a bug. It's a feature so we can touch grass. Would I rather hold on to Palmer or Christian Watson? Pretty easily Christian Watson. And in the short term, Watson is not going to produce until Jordan Love returns. But I mean, Christian Watson could have had 3 touchdowns against the Eagles, and Love will return. Is this like an or? Yeah, I would trade one of those guys for. Wow, what is going on with these ADPs? All right, let's go Debo. And Kincaid. Maybe I could get Kincaid on the wrap, but I'm assuming the Josh drafter wouldn't let me. Debo, because the Niners have a legit defense, and legit corners, more importantly. So, and Ayuk might not play a full complement of snaps. And then Kincaid, because with it being 4 drafters, and there's really only 3 tight ends that you want to start, like if Kincaid or Kittle or any of the tight ends score well, they're easily far more impactful. Quarterback, like you're gonna get one of the quarterbacks, so there's no need to. You can only draft one QB. I would trade this for Nico, especially with the Rome uncertainty. But like, I don't know. I try not to panic on these injuries. It just sucks that Rome's banged up. But that's part of the game we play. Looks like, I mean, I pretty much have to take Mostert here. Not that I want to. And we might as well take Purdy. The reason why I had to take Mostert here, even though he's banged up, is obviously these running backs are better picks. But if I don't take Mostert there and someone else goes double running back, I'm stuck with these running backs, and it's just hard to believe I could win like that. So now I can just go with best players. I got my QB. I got a tight end. I got a running back. Would you rather have Breece and Pollard or Saquon and Jacobs? Oof. Probably Saquon and Jacobs. Pretty close, though. Oh, we saw Malachi Corley get drafted. Shout out to that hero. Huh. So this gets pretty ugly by now, huh? Doesn't it? Cool. Mac Hollins. Jeez, man. All right, Big Mike, what do you got? Not a good pick. Not a good team. Not a good team at all. Yeah, like these like 4-person drafts, they're like it's so much more about getting a bit lucky through falling ADP usually, I'm sure. I mean, huge drop off to go from Keon Coleman to Malachi Corley, but hey, maybe we built the winner. Let's do a let's do a battle royale to kick off the week. My girlfriend's making voices in the faces in the background. I did like 10 dog bowl teams, didn't win. I think in the future too, I'll try to play like 2 main tournament teams, one on DK and one on FanDuel, and we'll review those teams in this video too. All right, can I find what I'm looking for? I'm jumping in the battle royale, guys. If you want to draft with me, need 2 more. The $5 one, 30K to first. The 101. See, this week I actually feel it's a little bit different than last week, especially now because I mean, Christian CMC's on the injury report with both an Achilles and a calf. So, like last week, it was like Tyreek Hill was by far and away the 101. We haven't seen CMC play yet, and I just think next week's slate's pretty interesting. Where you got the Chiefs against the Bengals, that's probably a smash for them. You got the Rams against the Cardinals, that's probably a smash for them. You got the 49ers playing the Vikings. That's probably a smash for them. So, pretty interesting spot. I could be a coward and take CMC. But there's a lot of running backs to like, like are all of these running backs going to get drafted before me on the wrap? Because if so, I'd rather. If not, I'd rather go wide out. Let's just do CD Lamb. Fuck it. Why not? Do you realistically think Okonkwo can be top 12 tight end this year? No, I do not. I think he scored a touchdown, but he's like he's like an Alec Pierce performance, right? So people who are not that great at managed are going to be like, they're going to bid a lot on Alec Pierce. They're going to bid a lot on touchdowns, and not think through usage. My cousin called me, and he's in like a casual league, but he called me and was like, he's a Ravens fan. He's $100 fab budget, and he's like, hey, like, how much should I spend on Isaiah Likely? His starting tight end was Jake Ferguson. And he can make $0 bids, which is important because you don't need to save money for a $1 QB, a $1 defense. And I was like, dude, I would bid like 75 to 85% of your budget on Isaiah Likely. Number one, because I think he is legit. Like, he's not going to do what he did last week every week, but he's going to be part of the offense. And realistically, like, shit, man, he could be tight end 1 on the year. Number two, fantasy football should be fun. You're a Ravens fan. And number three, think through this through like waiver wire bids. If you bidded 70% of your budget, are you going to be happy or upset if someone else bid 75%? Like, are you going to say, hey, they overbid, like they overspent on Likely? Or are you going to say, like, God damn it, I wish I bid 76%? So, and just keep in mind, guys, week 1 waivers, like, I'm going to have waiver separate content tomorrow again, but once the full slate is done. But this is a much worse year for waivers than last year. There's probably no Puka. There's probably no Tank Dell coming out on the waivers. And the early season is always the best time to use your fab. Like week 8, there's not going to be a league winner rolling around week 8. Yeah, I bid upwards of like $900 on Puka last year. Would you confidently starting J-Mill managed? It would depend on the matchup, Nick, and I'd need a little bit more there. I don't know how this is a fair question until we hear about Rome's injury. Let's go Kyron. And let's also do Rashee Rice. Pacheco was in the mix there for me too. But this is kind of why I went Lamb. Was knowing I could get Kyron, who wheels up RB1 usage, gets the Cardinals, leverages off a cup. I'm hoping that Rodgers comes out and is just healthy and that we get a great game tonight. Like, I think the Jets could be Super Bowl contenders if he is fine. I think this is that's what he calls Khalil Shakir, Amon, something like that. I mean, yes, true. He scored 1 touchdown. He is on pace for 17. Surprised Pacheco made it all the way back. I almost took him here. Tresnor wanting some attention, wanting to trash talk the Drake London hive. We're giving it to you. They tried to get it in the office, but I didn't open it for them. I think I'm going to launch my chess channel soon just because I want to review my games. Do I drop Luke McCaffrey for Tyler Johnson? I need to think about that a little bit more, but probably. I mean, where did this Tyler Johnson guy even come from? And how did we get no reporting on him? Oh, the dude that used to be in the Bucks? Yeah, you regret it this week, but it's a long season. You know, let's pull up Fareed's exposures after this. Look, I don't want to draft Luke McCaffrey, but I mean, absolutely insane that I'm getting Ayuk. And then let's also go for some correlation and go for McBride. I think it's a tough choice here for tight end. I think Likely was in play, McBride, Kittle. Like I really don't I could try to do a 49ers double. But let's try to nut out at every spot here. Save quarterback for last. Only 2 more QBs can be selected, which inherently means that I'm going to get 1 QB I want. Tutu played. Just not a lot. So it's a fun team. I'm going to jump in a dog bowl after this too and see if we can get one to fill and then probably call it a day on this stream. Let me know what you guys think in the if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know what you think in the comments about what you want to see. Again, I anticipate being a little bit more organized in the future. Had to get up early today. Yeah, it takes a long time to go through the week. I'm not going to ban you, man. I think what you did is reasonable. You know, you are trash talking. Someone is not going to feel good about it. You know, if I was a big Drake London guy, I wouldn't feel good about it. So I don't know. I generally am not trying to spread things that will make people feel shitty, but I think it's lighthearted fun changing your name to Imagine Drafting Drake London. Oh, it's not even for my channel. And I'm not a Drake London guy, so I don't care, you know? But yeah, guys, on the elite tight ends, panic levels elevated for Andrews, Kelsey, Ferguson, mostly due to and Njoku, mostly due to like systemic reasons. With Andrews, it's simply that it's like the injuries, and he'll probably be fine. Kelsey, it's the increased competition and age. He'll still have some games. Njoku, injury. Ferguson, injury. Panic levels extremely low on everyone else. Like, and just remember, when you draft elite tight end, you have multiple outs in best ball. And this is why they're good best ball picks. One out is they smash in the regular season. It's not the most likely out. It's not the most likely out that they just smash all year long. The better out, and what we see a lot, is they have a great playoff week or they have a great finals week. Mark Andrews was like 60% owned the year I won BBM2. I'm going to take Purdy. Probably will just be lower owned. And yeah, I didn't love what I saw from Kyler. Sure, that's just loading. Let's try to do a dog bowl and then get out of here. Probably not going to get one filled because there are 12 people things. But maybe. Seven more. So if you want to draft one of these with me, let me notify my Discord. The link to join that is below in the YouTube description. I don't know. We'll give this a little bit and we'll call it a day if not. Yeah, I think this is optimism for Andrews. He saw a lot of coverage. Guys, no one's gonna shoot 100%, you know? If you want to, you can go year by year and just try to like, great, this guy had a great call this year, a bad call next year, he's out of here, you know? But is what it is. Yeah, I wouldn't overreact to the tight end usage. And again, guys, pass rates were down across the whole NFL. Apparently means that most pass catchers struggled. I think 5 more. Just tweet it out. We're desperate. There's like the same group of people that always do these, but I'm pretty sure those people will see that tweet. The dog bowls are a 12-person draft, so I like them more the bigger the draft room. Terry McLaurin, Cliff Kingsbury doing some boomer shit, locking him one side of the field. Passing volume is going to be a concern in the short term. Nearly had a 80-yard touchdown. So fine in best ball, panic meter elevated and managed. And remember, guys, you have so many outs in best ball. Let's take Terry McLaurin. Let's say Terry McLaurin is a disappointment fantasy-wise. Bummer. But you made the playoffs, and he's on your team. He's 5% owned. And now, you're in the playoffs. It's week 15. And what's Terry McLaurin do? Catches 2 touchdowns. Boom. You're into week 16. Players can pay off late in the year. And it's not always the guys who are best the whole year. It's just not, you know? Oh my God, my knee. Exactly. Like I said this about Mostert. I said this about Josh Jacobs the year before when he smashed. It's like game theory wise, it's a little bit complicated, but game theory wise, sometimes you just don't want to have these league winners on your team because they're like insanely owned. Of course, it's not so simple because if you have a player that smash, they can be the one that advances a low owned player. So it's not so easy, you know. All right, we got the dog bowl here. Let's try to build the 10K winner. Of course, this is a 12-person draft, so much different than the 6-person. What if you have a bunch of Terry McLaurin total points contest? Well, then you need him to perform better than he did. You don't have as many outs there. My I wanted to show you guys this one marathon team. One of my highest scoring marathon teams. Again, I had to like draft a bunch of these at the same time. I started 5 straight running back picks. It's not going to be good long term. But yeah, it's like tied for my best team. And I started the draft like this. I went Bijan, Achane, ETN, James Cook, Rashad White. And then I went Jaden Reed, Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, Khalil Shakir, Tua, Lockett, Michael Wilson. Baker, Isaiah Likely, Jalen McMillan, Andre Yoshivas, Kobe Parkinson, Tucker Kraft. So honestly, like a sick roster, top to bottom. It's probably going to be too weak at wide receiver to win. Like Jaden Reed, Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, Khalil Shakir, Tyler Lockett, Michael Wilson, Jalen McMillan, Andre Yoshivas. I don't know. That's thin. I do have 8. Obviously, I only need 3. God, it's hard to abandon Amon-Ra here, but I really want to click Rice instead. Fuck it. Nah. Can't abandon the Sun God. Are we still getting the BBM leaderboard show with guests this year? One of my favorite programs from last season. I don't know if I'm going to exactly do it like that, KS, but yes, I think we'll get something like that. I mean, right? So you have to keep in mind, the leaderboard was looking at the highest scoring team, and there is no total points element anymore. The main thing we did in that show was I would break down the slate and like we would share our highest scoring teams. Which again, like your highest scoring BBM5 team has no relevance. It's simply, is it a playoff team or not? So I don't like, that's what I did here. I broke down the slate, you know? I didn't have a guest this week, but I'll be doing something like that, I think. Yeah, McMillan, definitely a great best ball pick. Here, I'll DM this team to me on Twitter. I can show it then. Yeah, I mean, it's the week 1. Like, especially if you're victory lapping any running back. Like, running back, the most injured position. Your running back can turn an ankle. Like look at the injuries we already have. DJ Chark, before the season even started, 4 games. Jordan Love, Roma Dunze now. What other injuries do we got? I would say Kirk Cousins being not back is most of the reason why Drake London struggled. Puka, Jake Ferguson. God, man, Jake Ferguson, one of my highest drafted players. Njoku. Fucking hell, dude. Week 1 was brutal. I think this happens a lot too. I think a lot of people are, I'm not saying our friend is doing that, but I think a lot of people are upset. And so they're spreading some hate, if you would. We're going to take Kyron against the Rams again, smash spot. All right, so here's the team. You show this to a best ball bro, and they'll be like, what the hell? You can't punt off wide receiver. This is my highest scoring team in the marathon, I think. Bijan, Achane, ETN, Cook, White. So feel great about all these guys. Like ETN, okay, sure. Like maybe we're not getting what we thought we were getting, but he's still going to have big games. Same thing with White. If Bucky becomes a thing, he's still going to have big games. Bijan, Achane, Cook at a minimum feels like wheels up. Jaden Reed, Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, Shakir. Ironically, even though Roma Dunze is one of my highest drafted players, if he misses time, maybe this team could win now. Because Keenan would definitely eat. Cortland Sutton, don't feel good about. Really didn't draft him much at all, but he's on this team. Khalil Shakir, Tua to go with Achane. Tyler Lockett. Yeah, I said like the hate on Tyler Lockett's gone too far, and he's only going to get better probably. Michael Wilson, going to be super boom bust probably. Baker, Really solid to pair with White. Likely. Smash pick, of course. Cheap. Gotten pretty cheap in this one, too. Jalen McMillan to pair with Baker. Strong. Yoshi Voss. I think he's a great best ball pick still. Probably not much more than that. And then Colby Parkinson and Tucker Kraft, also two sneaky week 1 winners. So like smash tight end room, smash running back room, Tua and Baker, two fine QBs. What can we get at wide receiver? Of course, the Love injury hurts Jaden Reed. I don't feel great about the wide receiver room, but I only need 3 wide receivers each week because I got running back that can fill flex and even a tight end maybe. So I don't think it's my best team, but it happened to be my highest scoring. I wanted Ayuk. Sure. The Likely. Let's go. Mr. Likely here. Straight up over Andrews. Why not? What up? That was a total points contest, so there's no such thing as a playoff winner. Yep, Addison injured too. This is the lightest on injuries we dealt with in years. I don't agree with that. I feel like there's been some high profile injuries, but we've had a lot of like injuries. And this doesn't really count until we know more there. If it's serious, okay, it counts. Like if Josh Allen doesn't play Thursday, yeah, that counts. But that seems very unlikely. Oh, yes, 100%. Achane looks like a smash. Likely Colby Kraft, late tight end nuts. I mean, honestly, yeah, like could be. We'll see. We'll see. Like Tyler Conklin, I'm pretty excited for. I don't know if against the 49ers it's the thing. And guys, just keep this in mind. Tight end is one of the highest variant positions there is because it's typically pretty like binary. Did you score a touchdown? Yes or no? Because they're not usually huge yardage guys. So no, the highest scoring team had Josh Allen. Oh, the best team with no Josh Allen. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Allen should not have been the Millie Maker QB. It should have been Baker. Like Baker was the optimal QB. T. Higgins, yep. Hannah, after week 1, would you have done differently? I really think this is like a multiple week question. Like, I don't think anyone out there should be making like swathing conclusions on their process after week 1. Give it 4 weeks, at least. Like, get through a quarter of the season. Like, okay, let's take Saquon. If you're saying out there, I should have drafted more Saquon, would you be saying that if he scored 1 touchdown instead of 3? If so, you're being way too results oriented. God, I wonder if people are going to draft Jaden Reed with this injury. Well, we are. Scott Erickson, that dunce. Looking like a pretty good week to only go 2 wide receivers. Do you agree that maybe you rushed your DraftKings Millie Maker best ball drafts? Why not draft a few a day all summer? Not really, Jerry. Like, I agree I could have done that, but I mean, how are you gonna say that to me when I advanced 51 teams last year? And I crammed them in even more. The bigger thing for me is I simply like I think winning the DraftKings Millie Maker is the least attainable as far as like what I can do because I think the drafters are worse there. So you're far more dependent on getting a lucky room and building a super team. And it's also the largest final field. It's like a final field of like 1,300 teams. So even if you get a team to the finals, that's inherently hard to win. And so because of that, I just put usually the least amount of time into it. And I draft BBM throughout the summer. I generally draft drafters throughout the summer. I save DK because, there's a thesis of drafting early, there's a thesis of drafting late. And the whole thesis of drafting late is you're drafting against the worst competition generally. And that should be greatest on DraftKings. So that's how I'll probably usually do it, but maybe not forever. Yeah, if like Malik Willis is the QB this week, okay, dunzo. But if we can get Ryan Tannehill in there, Wicks, my my thing with Wicks is, I mean, I was a little always apprehensive with the enthusiasm with him, but I saw him slip like 3 or 4 routes, including one that would, god damn, dude. Why? Oh, you have JMO. Okay, fair play, fair play. Um, I guess we do a weird stack with Stafford. I mean, only this. I guess I could have passed on him, and because only this guy can take a QB on the inside of me, but I didn't look at that in time. No, Jared, I thought your question was fair, not an attack. I didn't take it that way. But yeah, with Wicks, I mean, look, in managed, maybe it doesn't happen. But you have to realize part of the thesis of Wicks is he has contingent upside. That doesn't go away. And I'm telling you, from watching that game, I saw him slip on 3 or 4 routes, including one that would have been a touchdown. So better days ahead. I don't know why. Like, if you're the Steelers, are you going to let Russ get back out there? I don't know, man. I drafted a lot of Fields early in the season, middle of the season. I didn't draft as much to end the year, but I'm happy to have those Russ bags. I mean, those Fields bags. Um, the Steelers won, and the Steelers like O line is problematic. So Fields negates that a lot more than Russ does. I I really think it's unacceptable that the NFL let their star players go play in that field. It's not a field that's built for like, soccer players weigh like 140 pounds. They don't weigh 215. Yeah, Terrence, this Giants versus Commanders game is the ultimate like unstoppable force versus movable object or unmovable object, but the reverse where it's like the Commanders defense is terrible. The Giants offense is also terrible. Which will prevail? Usually the offense prevails when that's the case, but man, it's tough. Yeah, honestly, if he's getting to that, he should easily outscore every running back. He should have been the 101 if he's getting that much touches. I agree, man. But, are the Brazilian people like, you don't wanna show the Brazilian people this. Come on now. I don't know, man. I think they're gonna stick with Fields for the time being. Unless they really want Fields, then they throw Russ out there, have him lose, and then yank him. Um, yeah, I don't know, like, I guess, like, it would be kinda sharp to draft Puka because if he gets ruled out, I get a different player, but I'm probably just gonna pick a different player, to be honest with you. That seems like a decent bet. Yeah, let's do Brian Robinson. If I was doing multiple of these drafts, I would definitely draft Puka. But I also, like, I need to like, I didn't read about the severity of it. Yada, yada. Yeah, I have doubts he plays against the Rams. So, all right, our team is Amon-Ra, Kyron, Isaiah Likely, Jaden Reed, Stafford, Brian Robinson. We are we point chased on two guys, not the great process. Played two guys who did not point chase, and then a third pretty good dart. Considered to be week to week. All right. All right, guys, and girls, do me a favor. I'm going to end this stream, refresh the stream, drop a comment in the YouTube, helps the algo. Let me know what you'd like to see in future weeks. Probably have some guests on some of these weeks. And let's hope we have some great football. No injuries tonight. Brandon Ayuk, 400 yards. Let's get it. Enjoy your days. Peace out.